Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
Corruption is a vile disease that sucks and drains the health out of something good. Corruption in society is an evil moral infection that keeps community in the state of perpetual sickness. Corruption is a moral virus. It's so potent, it leaves its host sick, lethargic, and unable to realize and accomplish all that a well person can. Where corruption thrives, poverty and not prosperity thrives. Wealth is grabbed into the greedy, grubby hands of those who get fat on the toil and labor of good people. Corruption benefits, only temporarily, those who participate in it. Everyone else is a victim of the theft, the deceit, the dishonesty, and the lies that corruption feeds on. You need to know that a corrupt person is stealing from you. Corruption is filthy work and despicable acts of treachery done under the table and behind closed doors. Corruption is a disgusting shame. Corruption keeps a nation back from true development and from progress. Wise investors steer clear of a corrupt environment. They would rather put their resources into a place where the playing field of opportunity is equal for all and not bent towards feeding the financial lust of corrupt, lying, cheating, thieving politicians and government officials. How many wonderful development projects have been lost because the investors didn't want to do business in a swamp of evil? When those great projects go to another nation or to some other place, we all lose. Believe me when I tell you that corruption steals from you, it steals from all of us. Corruption plunders the nation's wealth. Corrupt people compromise on truth, equity, and fairness, choosing instead to feed off the short-term benefits of crookedness, exploitation, and financial perversion. Corruption is not just a personal matter, it's a culture. It's a way of life, not just for individual people, but for companies, communities, governments, and nations. Corrupt nations, hiding behind large companies, will seek to invest in other weak nations in order to take over the assets of the nation that they've invested into. They will provide financial loans to a nation for the much-needed infrastructure, and they will do it with assets that they provide. They will sign contracts by lining the pockets of rotten government officials who participate in this kind of corruption and are then held hostage by their own deceit and greed. Corruption is nothing less than a form of theft and national robbery. A corrupt person steals from everyone in society.
Ghetto, run, keep going on, let's process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just as I as a watchman around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, we gotta bust down Babylon walls. Prepare and read the way. Prepare and read the way for jumping. Let's go. Fight down, war cry. Fight down. Listen, Rastafari. War up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, Jah Rasta, and we love Jah, Jah Rastafari, save all people. And we love Jah, we love Jah, Jah Rastafari, we love Jah, Jah Rastafari, save all people. Put time away again. Listen, yeah. Just as I and I say, watch your man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace, while we penalize. Hey, oh, night, we gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way, prepare the way for Jah Rastafari. Fight down war and fight, fight down war and fight, Rastafari, war and fight, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah, Jah Rastafari, and we love Jah, Jah Rastafari, preserve all, and we love Jah, Jah Rasta. Me love Jah, Jah Rasta. Me love Jah, Jah Rastafari, preserve all. Me love Jah, Jah Rastafari, Jah Rastafari. Yeah, the next song is going to be the last song for tonight, and then DJ Twink.
Good morning. I don't know about you, but I am backed into a corner this morning. I cannot under any circumstances support anything MAGA. Neither do I want to support Andrew Holness. But on this issue, half-heartedly though it is or sound, there is a matter of principle to look into the Andrew Holness, Carlos Giménez issue on Andrew Holness, CARICOM speech. I am torn this morning. What about you? We're running polls on all the channels this morning. And please do whichever of the channel you're on, participate in the poll. Do you support Andrew or do you support Senator, Congressman Giménez or whatever he is being called? On the matter of principle, bear in mind the matter of principle that is at hand. Bear in mind half-heartedly what he spoke at CARICOM. I am torn this morning. What about you? I cannot support MAGA, but I do not also want to support Andrew Holness. But this, though, is a matter of principle. What says you this morning? Good morning and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this morning. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning and welcome. Big Titty Fifi, good morning. Fifi and JPS had a meeting with the party foreigners last night. Yes, the party foreigners, those in the PEP group, the party enrichment group, those all the way in foreign. But I put it on my Facebook page if anyone on the wall listening. I wake up out of my sleep and find the meeting. And me, if I chew me, I wake out of my sleep. And you know, when you wake out of your sleep, you're fool. You never to understand nothing where going too much. But I'm going to catch the last half hour at the galangin. But there was only one person asking proper questions anyway, a nurse in our community. She lives abroad now. She used to work at Cornwall Regional Hospital back in the day, Casilda Jones. She was the only one that was asking any sensible questions. So if you don't want to see and hear Fifi, JPS, and the party foreigners, then it's on my Facebook page. I really haven't got the time this morning. There's so much fish to fry. There's so much fish to fry this morning. Debbie Jarvis, Stevie, how you doing? Good morning, the Easy Jerk World. Welcome, Laverne, Colleen, Miranda Ruddock, Michael Nepper, Sophia Hall, Suzette Williams, Lorraine Smichaels, Lady Bug, Jackie Walford, Marcia Thomas. Good morning, Denise Hilton, Barbara Simpson. Good morning, Desiree Stanley, Violet Watson. Good morning, Rennie Nicholson. Good morning, everyone. Like and share the live for us, please. And do participate in the poll as well. We want to hear from you. Do you support Andrew Holness on a matter of principle? Or do you support the magarific bullshit? Now, before we get to Andrew Holness and the Cuban issue, because if you are aware of the Bay of Pigs rather, invasion, when the Americans invaded Cuba in the 60s, and the Americans were embarrassed on the battlefield in the Bay of Pigs rather. The Americans cannot let go of that, Marcia Gill. The Americans just can't. Cuba not do them nothing, you know. Them invade Cuba, and Cuba whip the dickens out of them clan. Whip them. Cuba whip them. And since that, the Americans in here this morning just cannot get over the beating, the walloping that Cuba gave to America. That's all America's problem, you know. That's all you see America hold on pan Cuba shirt tail for. And you know there was another flashpoint in the Florida Strait where Cuba had to take evasive action to quell what may would have been some of those same lot from the Pigs of the era and the CIA era and all of that. So we're going to look into that this morning as well. But we're going to come to, I want to tell you about a group. I don't know if you're aware. You know, in this world, you have private groups and you have secret groups, private organizations and secret organization. You have private organization like the Trilateral Commission, private organization like the Bilderberg Group, private organization like Davos and the World Economic Forum. Me live, me will call you back when me done. Like Davos, the World Economic Forum, you have those private groups. You also have the secret groups like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and so on and so forth, all sorts of different cabals. Don't know how much you are aware of the Bilderberg Group and their annual conference and their influence and power. Now you may hear about groups like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and all of those. These power structure, like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, they sit way below the Bilderberg Group. The Bilderberg Group is like the pecking order when it comes to geopolitical power and influence over all of these leaders. So we're going to tell you a bit about the Bilderberg Group in an article we've done in case you're not aware of the Bilderberg Group and their influence on world leaders. So let us slip into that. Then
the architects of consensus.
We deal with some issue in the United Kingdom. Then we go right to Andrew, Congress, Marco Rubio, CARICOM, and the whole hogwash.
The architects of consensus, Bilderberg, and the mechanics of global power. For over 7 decades, the Bilderberg Group has stood as one of the most scrutinized yet secretive fixtures of Western geopolitics. Founded in 1954 at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, the group's annual meetings gather approximately 120 to 150 of the world's most influential figures, spanning heads of state, CEOs of multinational corporations, high-ranking military officials, and top-tier academics. The 2025 conference, Stockholm, Sweden. The 71st.
I want you to listen to this article carefully, word by word. It is important.
Bilderberg meeting took place from June 12 to 15, 2025, at the Grand Hotel in Stockholm, Sweden. According to the official participant list, 121 individuals from 23 countries attended. Key topics on the 2025 agenda reflected the most pressing anxieties of the modern era, including the transatlantic relationship and the authoritarian axis, artificial intelligence, deterrence and national security, the geopolitics of energy and critical minerals, depopulation and migration. Notably, despite not being on the official public list, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson was.
You notice the things on the agenda that they discuss. I'll play back that part for you again. Listen to the agenda of last year's Bilderberg conference.
The transatlantic relationship and the authoritarian axis. Sweden. The 71st Bilderberg meeting took place from June 12 to 15, 2025, at the Grand Hotel in Stockholm, Sweden. According to the official participant list, 121 individuals from 23 countries attended. Key topics on the 2025 agenda reflected the most pressing anxieties of the modern era, including the transatlantic relationship and the authoritarian axis, artificial intelligence, deterrence and national security, the geopolitics of energy and critical minerals, depopulation and migration. Notably, despite not being on the official public list, Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson was reported to have attended, underscoring the meeting's draw for top-level national leadership. The mechanism of influence, the Chatham House rule. The core of Bilderberg's power lies not in formal policymaking, but in the environment it creates. Meetings are conducted under the Chatham House rule, which allows participants to use information received, but prohibits revealing the identity or affiliation of any speaker. By removing the pressure of public scrutiny, the conference provides a safe space for the elite to 1. Build consensus. The group's original mission was to foster Atlanticism, strengthening ties between North America and Western Europe to prevent another world war. 2. Vet future leaders. Historically, several figures have attended Bilderberg just before rising to immense power.
Now, Tony Blair and Bill Clinton were two of those future leaders that attended the Bilderberg group before they rose to political prominence.
3. Coordinate global strategy. While the group issues no formal resolutions, the shared insights often manifest later in the synchronized policies of central banks, international bodies, and national governments. Power versus conspiracy, a delicate balance. The secrecy surrounding the meetings has inevitably fueled various theories. To critics and conspiracy researchers, Bilderberg is a shadow world government that dictates the price of oil, the timing of wars, and the fate of currencies. However, political scientists often view the group's influence through a more nuanced lens. Rather than a secret cabal that issues direct orders, Bilderberg acts as a super think tank. Its true power is soft power, the ability to shape the intellectual framework within which the world's decision makers operate. When the heads of NATO, the IMF, and the world's largest tech firms spend 3 days discussing AI and deterrence, the resulting consensus naturally trickles down into the policies of their respective organizations. Conclusion: the Bilderberg Group remains a testament to the enduring importance of informal diplomacy. In an increasingly fragmented world, the 2025 meeting in Stockholm demonstrates that the transatlantic elite still views private, off-the-record dialogue as their most effective tool for maintaining influence over the global order. Whether it is a necessary forum for stability or an undemocratic concentration of power remains a subject of intense debate.
Lynette Jenkins, how are you? So just so you're aware of one of the private power structures, we always talk about the World Economic Forum. Some of us talk about the Bilateral Commission. Some people talk about the Rothschilds, the Gates, but the Rothschilds, the Gates, the Rockefellers, they are down the line on the pecking order when it comes to the group like the Bilderberg, group. So you can look up more of the Bilderberg group on the internet. We're going to move now to a pressing issue that a lot of us that lives in the United Kingdom is all too much aware of. The high mortality rate, especially when it comes to Black women and women of ethnic minority, and the cover-up that is now being exposed in the NHS for their covering up of crime, basically. Let's listen to the article on the UK cover-up of their crimes against mothers and babies in or maternity units in the United Kingdom, more affecting Black women and babies than others.
The double silencing: why falsified maternity records are a crisis for Black mothers. The recent harrowing reports suggesting that some NHS maternity units have resorted to falsifying medical records to cover up harm to mothers and babies represent a catastrophic breach of public trust. While the manipulation of clinical data is a universal threat to patient safety, its implications are not felt equally. For Black mothers and their infants, this culture of defensiveness and data erasure is not just a bureaucratic failure, it is a direct threat to survival in a system already defined by deep-seated racial disparities. The erasure of truth in a high-stakes environment. In the United Kingdom, the statistics surrounding maternal mortality are well documented and devastating. Black women are nearly 4 times more likely to die during pregnancy or childbirth than white women. In this high-stakes environment, the medical record is the only objective shield a family has. When a hospital amends or redacts notes to hide mistakes, they are engaging in a form of institutional gaslighting. For Black mothers, who frequently report that their pain is dismissed or their concerns are ignored due to harmful stereotypes, the falsification of records serves to delete their lived experience. It ensures that the systemic biases that led to a poor outcome are never scrutinized, documented, or corrected. Obstruction of justice and the trust deficit. The broader implications for Black families extend far beyond the delivery room. Accessing justice through legal channels or clinical inquiries relies entirely on the integrity of medical data. If records are tampered with, the path to accountability is effectively blocked. Furthermore, these cover-ups fuel a profound trust deficit. For communities that already harbor historical and justified skepticism of institutional medicine, news of record manipulation validates the fear that the system is more interested in self-preservation than in the lives of Black patients. This can lead to a dangerous cycle where expectant Black mothers avoid early prenatal care or hesitate to speak up during labor, fearing that their words will be ignored or later erased. Masking a national emergency. Perhaps the most dangerous implication of record falsification is the distortion of national health data. To solve the crisis of Black maternal mortality, the NHS requires accurate raw data to identify where the system is failing. By hiding near misses or clinical errors, trusts are effectively masking a national emergency. Falsified data allows for a colorblind defense, where policymakers can claim progress while the underlying causes of racial disparities remain unaddressed. It prevents the allocation of targeted funding and the implementation of mandatory cultural competency training that could save lives. Conclusion: a call for radical transparency. The findings brought forward by Baroness Valerie Amos and patient safety advocates underscore a cycle of harm that must be broken. For Black mothers and babies, the falsification of records is a double silencing. First, their voices are silenced during a medical crisis, and second, their trauma is silenced in the official record. To restore safety, the NHS must move toward a culture of radical transparency. Accountability cannot exist without an unshakable commitment to the truth, because for Black mothers in the UK, the accuracy of a medical record is quite literally a matter of life and death.
The world we live in is bigger than Jamaica. We cannot just focus on the issues of Jamaica because Jamaicans live everywhere. And these things affect us everywhere we are, whether be in Europe or North America. Black women are facing an awful type of care, an awful type of prenatal care and maternity care. It is causing their lives, it is causing their babies' lives. And in the case of the cover-up that has been exposed here in the NHS, they are falsifying records to protect themselves. This is a crime. This is a crime. No, let's go back to the Caribbean. Let's go back to the Caribbean. Now, the flashpoint that took place over the last few days between the Cubans and Cuban expatriates.
Flashpoint in the Florida Strait.
Possible US CIA, as they have always been doing and did in the 60s, that allow Cuba to give them a good old walloping that the Americans never get over. They continue to want to squeeze the life out of Cuba because that little island embarrassed the big old America. Iran's going to do worse to you, America. Iran is going to do worse than what Cuba did to you.
Flashpoint in the Florida Straits, analyzing the deadly clash between Cuba and a Florida-based speedboat. The announcement by the Cuban Ministry of the Interior on February 25, 2026, regarding a lethal maritime confrontation near Cayo Falcones, has sent shockwaves through the Caribbean, marking a dangerous escalation in the long-simmering hostility between Havana and Washington. The incident, involving a Florida-registered speedboat and Cuban border guards, has resulted in 4 deaths and multiple injuries, but its implications reach far beyond a localized shootout. It signals a potentially transformative moment in US-Cuba relations. The incident, 2 sides of a smoking gun. According to the official Cuban narrative, a speedboat bearing Florida registration intruded into Cuban territorial waters. When intercepted by the Cuban border guard, the occupants allegedly initiated a firefight, wounding a Cuban officer. Havana claims the subsequent return fire killed 4 infiltrators and led to the detention of 6 others. Cuban authorities have been quick to display what they call terrorist material, including assault rifles, Molotov cocktails, and military fatigues, framing the event as a failed paramilitary raid by Florida-based exiles. Conversely, the US government has greeted these claims with profound skepticism. While not denying the presence of a Florida boat, American officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, have demanded an independent investigation. The central tension lies in whether this was a legitimate security threat or a heavy-handed, perhaps extrajudicial use of force by the Cuban military against individuals whose motives, ranging from human smuggling to political activism, remain unverified by neutral parties. The geopolitical context, a region on edge. To understand the weight of this incident, one must look at the broader regional landscape in early 2026. The geopolitical tectonic plates of the Caribbean have shifted dramatically. 1. The Venezuelan domino. Following the collapse of the Maduro government in Venezuela in January 2026, Cuba lost its last significant regional patron and its primary source of subsidized energy. Havana is currently in a state of high alert paranoia, viewing the loss of its ally as a precursor to US-backed efforts to dismantle the Cuban socialist system. 2. Maximum Pressure 2.0. The US administration has moved beyond mere sanctions, adopting a posture of maximum pressure that rivals the Cold War era. For Havana, the appearance of an armed boat from Florida is not seen as an isolated crime, but as a coordinated act of war sponsored by hardline elements in the United States. 3. Domestic crisis in Cuba. Internally, Cuba is facing its worst economic crisis in decades. Food shortages and power grid failures have stoked domestic unrest. The Cuban government historically utilizes external threats to unify the population and justify crackdowns on dissent. This incident provides a convenient enemy at the gates narrative. The specter of past conflicts. Analysts are already drawing chilling parallels to the 1996 Brothers to the Rescue incident, where Cuba shot down 2 civilian planes, leading to the permanent codification of the US embargo via the Helms-Burton Act. If the victims of this latest shootout are confirmed to be US citizens or legal residents, and if evidence suggests they were fired upon without justification, the US may feel compelled to respond with more than just rhetoric. However, the presence of weaponry on the boat, if verified, complicates the US position. If the occupants were indeed planning an armed infiltration, it highlights a breakdown in US domestic law enforcement regarding neutrality acts, potentially embarrassing Washington on the international stage. Risks of escalation. The immediate danger is the militarization of the Florida Straits. With both the US Coast Guard and the Cuban Navy increasing patrols in response to the shootout, the margin for error is razor thin. A second miscalculation or accidental engagement between official vessels could spiral into a direct military confrontation that neither side may be able to easily de-escalate. Furthermore, the humanitarian dimension cannot be ignored. Such violence often discourages legal migration channels while simultaneously increasing the desperation of those looking to flee, potentially triggering a mass exodus similar to the 1980 Mariel boat lift or the 1994 rafter crisis. Conclusion. The February 25th incident is a symptom of a relationship that has transitioned from cold to combustible. As Havana uses the event to fortify its revolutionary defenses, and Washington uses it to highlight the brutality of the regime, the truth of what happened on that speedboat may become secondary to the political utility of the tragedy. In the coming weeks, the transparency of the investigation, or the lack thereof, will determine if this event is remembered as a tragic footnote in maritime smuggling, or the spark that ignited a new and more violent chapter in the struggle for the future of Cuba.
Right. Staying with Marco Rubio, we're moving straight because we're building up to Andrew Holness and Senate and the Congressman. I want you all to participate in the poll that is on your channel. Who do you agree with? Do you agree with Andrew Holness and the Cuba matter, or do you agree with the US Senator? Please participate in the poll because this is a principal issue and we want to hear from you. Even if you are a staunch critic of Andrew Holness like myself, or you are a die-hearted PNP, who do you support? Could you as a PNP stand with the MAGA above a principal issue that Andrew Holness is taking on Cuba, regardless of your opposition to Andrew Holness? It's quite an issue for us to think about, but it is a principled issue. And as our leader, wait, no, let us build up. Let us build up. This is the wool. For me, this is the wool that the US State Department is pulling over the eye of our leaders and the control of the region and its minerals. This Caribbean reboot partnership that the US is talking about. When the US did have things figure, we partnership, we never benefit, we partnership with the US never benefit because the Trump take back all our visa them now. The Trump take back all our. Let's go to what Marco Rubio said at CARICOM. Then we go straight to Andrew Holness after that, which sparked an outrage from a US senator that led them to threaten our prime minister. On issues of corruption, I may would have supported a threat. Wait, we don't reach this yet.
The Caribbean Reboot, Strategic Partnership or 21st Century Recolonization. The 50th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in St. Kitts and Nevis has become the stage for a dramatic shift in Western Hemispheric politics. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's reboot of Caribbean relations, framed as a mission to reinvigorate ties, has ignited a fierce debate. Is Washington finally offering the regional partnership the Caribbean has long sought, or is it reasserting a modernized version of the Monroe Doctrine? The Washington narrative, prosperity through security. Rubio's pitch to CARICOM leaders is rooted in the concept of intertwined destinies. By framing the region's economic stability as intricately tied to U.S. national interests, the Trump administration is signaling that it no longer views the Caribbean as a neglected backyard, but as a vital strategic frontier. The promise is multifaceted. Following the capture of Nicolas Maduro and the subsequent regional energy vacuum, the U.S. is positioning itself as the ultimate guarantor of stability. Rubio's vision includes making the region a magnet for inbound investment, facilitating American business involvement in emerging sectors, and addressing the dire humanitarian crisis in Cuba, albeit through the specific lens of private sector aid rather than government-to-government cooperation. From this perspective, the reboot is a win-win. The U.S. gets a secure southern border and a wall against Chinese influence, while CARICOM gets the capital and security support necessary to move beyond traditional, fragile industries. The critic's lens, the price of conditional sovereignty. However, for many regional analysts, the language of reinvigoration masks a more transactional and restrictive reality. The reboot carries the distinct scent of what critics call soft recolonization, a system where Caribbean nations maintain the trappings of independence while surrendering the substance of their foreign and economic policy to Washington. 1. The anti-China mandate. A central pillar of the Rubio Doctrine is the exclusion of Chinese infrastructure and telecommunications. The U.S. is effectively dictating who the Caribbean can trade with. For sovereign nations, the right to choose global partners is a fundamental tenet of independence. Being forced to choose a side in a new Cold War feels less like a partnership and more like a return to being a sphere of influence. 2. Extraterritorial reach. The reboot places heavy emphasis on security integration. While CARICOM leaders have begged for help stopping the iron flow of illegal U.S. guns, the solution often involves the expansion of U.S. law enforcement agencies on Caribbean soil. Critics argue this erodes judicial sovereignty, turning local police forces into de facto subsidiaries of the U.S. Department of Justice. 3. The ideological litmus test. The U.S. stance on Venezuela and Cuba remains the ultimate pressure point. Rubio's unapologetic stance, stating Venezuela is better off today, despite the regional upheaval, forces CARICOM nations into an awkward alignment. The recent Treasury Department authorization for oil sales to Cuba, limited strictly to private sector entities, is seen by some as a move to undermine the Cuban state from within, using the Caribbean as a conduit for U.S.-style regime change. Partnership or hegemony. The distinction between partnership and recolonization lies in the presence of mutual agency. A true partnership would address the Caribbean's priorities, climate finance, debt relief, and the cessation of illegal gun exports, without demanding total ideological conformity. If the Rubio reboot results in tangible economic development and a genuine reduction in violence without forcing nations to abandon their diplomatic autonomy, it will be a landmark success. However, if the investment comes with strings that prevent Caribbean nations from engaging with the wider world, the region may find that it has traded the old chains of colonialism for a new high-tech velvet glove. As the summit continues in Basseterre, CARICOM leaders must decide if they are entering a room with a partner or a boardroom with a hostile solicitor. The reboot is underway. The only question is who will be holding the remote.
Now, when Marco Rubio came to Jamaica in December, whatever time he come there after they win, we were concerned as to one, what Andrew Holness signed up to with these people, what Andrew Holness agreed to. And we have been, in my view, shunned and pushed aside on the issue. Whatever Andrew Holness agreed to, whatever assurance Andrew Holness gave, we are not aware. It is our view then, based on the dilly-dallying and the pew-pew, that he capitulated to the Americans. Now, you would remember, before Andrew Holness went off to CARICOM, Andrew Holness was visited by two former prime ministers, Bruce Golding, who have been saying a lot on the Cuba issue, PJ Patterson, who is a staunch socialist ally. Now, Andrew Holness went to CARICOM and seemed to have had a come to Jesus moment and have,
Diplomatic friction.
in our view, in the view of the Americans, have changed his tune, which create some rattle-tattle and backlash from US Congressman. Now, let's listen to the article we've done. We put out the article them on your website, but we don't put them on Facebook yet. When we done the show, we'll put them on Facebook. I'm getting a bit lazy. My brain is getting a bit tired, but never mind. We will catch up. We will catch up. You see. Now, let's listen to the article we did, and then we come back to discuss whether we stand by our leader or not. Crooked or corrupt though he is, this is a matter of principle.
Diplomatic friction. US Congressman warns of consequences following Holness CARICOM speech. The long-standing diplomatic relationship between Jamaica and the United States has entered a period of heightened tension following a sharp public rebuke of Prime Minister Andrew Holness by US Congressman Carlos Giménez. The dispute ignited after Holness's address at the 48th regular meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM, held in late February 2026, where he called for a shift in US policy toward Cuba. The resulting fallout highlights a growing rift between the United States' hardline foreign policy and the Caribbean's unified stance on regional sovereignty. The catalyst, Holness's call for dialogue. During the summit, Prime Minister Holness used his platform to advocate for a constructive and respectful dialogue between the United States and Cuba. He specifically called for the removal of Cuba from the US list of state sponsors of terrorism, a designation that carries heavy economic sanctions. Holness argued that the inclusion of Cuba on this list creates undue hardship for the Cuban people and hinders regional economic integration. His comments mirrored the collective sentiment of CARICOM, which has long viewed the US embargo as an outdated Cold War relic that destabilizes the Caribbean basin. The attack. Congressman Giménez strikes back. The response from Washington was swift and severe. Congressman Carlos Giménez, a Florida Republican and a prominent voice on the House Homeland Security Committee, took to social media and official channels to blast Holness's rhetoric. Giménez, who is of Cuban descent and a staunch critic of the Havana government, labeled the Prime Minister's remarks as lamentable and shameful. In an uncommonly direct attack on a Caribbean head of state, Giménez suggested that Holness was parroting the talking points of a brutal dictatorship. Most significantly, the congressman issued a veiled threat, stating that there would be consequences for Jamaica's decision to side with oppressors over its democratic allies. This rhetoric signaled that Jamaica's diplomatic posture could potentially jeopardize bilateral aid, trade preferences, or security cooperation. A growing divide in the hemisphere. This dispute underscores a fundamental disagreement regarding regional security and human rights. To Congressman Giménez and his supporters in the US, any support for the Cuban government is seen as an endorsement of authoritarianism and a threat to Western Hemisphere security. From this perspective, Jamaica is jeopardizing its special relationship with the US by seeking to normalize ties with an adversary. Conversely, for Holness and CARICOM, the issue is one of regional stability and the right to self-determination. Caribbean leaders argue that the continued isolation of Cuba drives the island closer to extra-regional powers like Russia and China, which creates more security risks for the US than a policy of engagement would. Holness has maintained that Jamaica remains a loyal partner to the US, but insists that regional prosperity requires the inclusion of all Caribbean nations in the economic fold. The path forward. As the dust settles, the Holness administration faces a delicate balancing act. Jamaica relies heavily on the United States for tourism, remittances, and security assistance via the Caribbean Basin Security Initiative. However, Holness also leads a nation that prides itself on independent foreign policy and regional leadership. Whether the consequences threatened by Congressman Giménez will manifest as legislative action in Washington remains to be seen. For now, the dispute serves as a stark reminder that as Caribbean nations assert their independence on the global stage, the friction with their northern neighbor is likely to intensify, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the Americas.
Oh, how we wanted hell to break loose between Andrew Holness and the Americans. Oh, how we wanted a fallout between Andrew Holness and the Americans. This, though, in my view, is not the issue. We've been waiting for something like this, truth be told, for some backlash from the US to be coming at Andrew Holness. Not on this issue, though. That's why I'm torn, very torn. Because I cannot, for any reason, defend the US against Cuba, one. I cannot, for any reason, supported the magarification of anything barring the teardown of America. Flip-flopping though he is, corrupt though he is, thief though he is, narcissistic though he is, heartless though he is, this is a matter where personally I have to support Andrew Holness' half-hearted, flip-flopping stance. I wish it was a stance that is grounded in principle, you'll see. I wish it was a stance grounded in principle. But I want to ask the Prime Minister this. Before you waddle off the CARICOM, you had a sit down with PJ Patterson and Bruce Golden, former Prime Ministers, who were paying the same salary as you, and we need to stand up and start rebel about them useless salary where we pay former Prime Minister and their former wives, or dead wives, or living wife, or for dead man, or something or the other. That is another whole topic where we are going to talk about. We're going to do one article on it no longer than today, because it is something that we need to have in the national consciousness of how much millions we're plucking out per year for Prime Minister's salary. 28 times 4 or 5, because I think one of the wives, them I get husband's salary too. This is something that must be in our national consciousness. But I want to ask the Prime Minister, did those two former Prime Ministers strengthen you up and give you like a backbone? Figure Cuba, figure CARICOM, we'll get you in a catawire right now. I want to say to Senator Lampshade, Senator Home Sweet Home, and Senator SpongeBob, on have a way to crowd up the labor right gangsters them. You know, Senator Lamp, Home Sweet Home, and Senator SpongeBob. Yeah, those two from the opening of the Parliament ceremonial the other day. We don't know so them run come out and gang up everybody we call Andrew Holness. When I go come after the Congressman, me just ask. Is the JLP willing to stand up publicly? The JLP vloggers were afraid over their visa. The JLP vlogger them we want to go look at visa embassy. The JLP politician them we have them visa to fly to America. Like how Anvar's daughter-in-law never deliver him baby at Jamaica. She fly to foreign go deliver our baby. So we want to know if the labor right them are going to come out pan the Congressman. Like how no come out pan we. Like how no always take we and push we and throw we up against the wall. And tell we about the chip what we up on we shoulder and what we rob and thief and all sort. George Davis and Cliff Hughes. Morning. Honor do. Mama and daughter. We know go come out because we have a way of coming out by everybody else, you know. See the big fight, you know, where we all plan, people like me all plan for compound on our side. Me all plan for compound on our side, you know. So we want to know if we not go turn back away or not go in front and we go fight the war because this is a war against MAGA. This is a war for Cuba. We not ready? We out here, you know. This is Cuba. We out here, labor rights, on a prime minister, jaw closer to feel side. Are you gonna stand up over there and make your prime minister alone fight the war? No, Andrew need help. Labor rights, vote for labor, vote for labor. Me and my neighbor, voting for labor. Vote for Labour Party. Me and me charge it. Vote for Labour Party. Labour Party. Andrew Holness need on right now. Because just like on a crowd round we and tangle up with foot and try to confuse when we talk the truth in our country. So no have war, you know. War where we plan to help on a fight. On not ready? No, labor rights. Not ready? We can't lift this for Andrew Sosa one. We want to hear from Kamina Johnson today. We want to hear from Marlon Back. And we want to hear from Apka Fitzhenley shoulder. We want to hear from the place too quiet. The room too silent. We want to hear from you. We want to hear from the back, the shoulder, and the neck. Same, all of them upon the body. We want to hear from you. We can't silence so. We don't run out with big stick every day and just a woof whistle and just a woof whistle. Yesterday in a corner cry. Ball labor rights. Where are Uno? We out here, you know. Hickle to pickle, labor rights. Hickle to pickle, visa protecting labor rights. Uno say, and daughter-in-law go all the way foreign, go give birth. And daughter-in-law say, in those shitholes that you call maternity wards down here. Like, seriously? Vote for Labour, they say. So we have to go turn by Labour right now. Because we want to call PNP, me as an independent, would decide to put down my pride, decide to put down my shame, decide to put down my principle, and on a matter of principle. Side with the flip-flopping of the prime minister. Me not able Me not able to come over, come support a prime minister right now. We have backbone, you know. Him still bended and looped. Uno can't, uno not turn out with the quietness. We're going to jog on till you come out, tell people. We're going to jog on till we reach under the street light. We don't know. We are going to drag on now till we reach under the street light. We don't know. Because Andrew need no support labor rights. Can be willing to support Andrew on this matter. After this year done, we will take up the war with Andrew again. Because war between me and the Babylon just can't over. We can put it aside and deal with a principal issue. Then as soon as that's done, we'll go back to the war with we and the Babylon. I'm willing to support Andrew on a matter of his flip-flopping principle. If he can stand on it, don't make me look shame, you know, MPM. MPM. Like, oh, you make a labor right, them look shame, you know. Don't make me look shame, you know. Because maybe me have to go flip-flop like a you. But whatever, then chant up in your back. PJ and Bruce say, this boy is having it too easy. This boy is having it too easy. We've got to rock the boat. Oh, rock the boat. Rock the boat, Prime Minister. But please, don't let that boat turn over. Because if it's one life jacket, you know, said no Jamaican go show you that life jacket. Not even the labor right them. Because the audience silent for you, yeah? Prime Minister. No, sir. I wonder if you're really sleeping at night time, Prime Minister. Prime Minister, are you an anxiety tablet? Just asking. Just asking if the Prime Minister is an anxiety medication. How is the Prime Minister sleep at night? Does the Prime Minister need weed, alcohol, or sleeping pill to go off at night? Is there a lot of noise in your pillow, Prime Minister? You see it good to take the nation along with your wholeness. Remember when you declare war upon we, you know? And see right now, I have to put on the war to come be a buttress for you. Because the labor right them run left you. Andrew Holness. Andrew Holness, we the PNP ready to stand with you on a matter of principle. Flip-flopping, though it is. Flip-flopping though it is. Andrew Holness. What the labor right them there? The more the merrier, don't? Labor rights. The more the merrier. The man want the support. Some are willing to jump with Ferrari with him and come out for Cuba. Because this is not about Andrew. This is about Cuba labor rights. Don't get it wrong. Labor rights. Labor rights. Don't get it wrong. This is about Cuba, not about Andrew. That's why it's a matter of principle. The principle here is Cuba, not Andrew. That's why I can support it, because the principle is on Cuba. Flip-flopping. So it is. I cannot, could not, will not, would never support the Americans on any of their hegemonic dictatorial behavior that they carry out in this world. I am quietly waiting for Iran to decimate them more than Cuba did in the 60s when the US tried to invade them. Embarrassment where the US can't live off. If you don't want to understand where this war come from, or where this feeling come from, go and watch the documentary on the Bay of Pigs invasion. The truth on the Bay of Pigs. Watch that documentary. The truth about the Bay of Pigs invasion. America cannot let go of the embarrassment, the beating and the insult Cuba gave them on the battlefield. The back down where Cuba have to make America back down. America cannot get over that embarrassment. But I can guarantee America, I can promise America and tell America to take it to the bank and cash it, that this bullyism that Donald Trump is going on with and the mustering of war around Iran is no more saber rattling. It's become reality. America, you will leave out of this embarrassed. Worse than Pearl Harbor, worse than Bay of Pigs, America, you will be toppled in a way that you've never expected to. America, they are waiting for you. The Chinese and the Russian and the Iranian, they're lying quietly, waiting for you, Donald Trump and Netanyahu. The Antichrist, that even those Christians, when the Antichrist arrives, the Christians can recognize. So the Antichrist has arrived in Netanyahu and Donald Trump. But I'm appealing to us Jamaicans. This is a national issue. Yes, me know we don't like Andrew Holness. Me myself don't like him, can't tolerate him. But we have to stand with Andrew Holness on this issue. I know for a lot of people it's painful. The issue is not about Andrew Holness, though. It's about Cuba, our loyal friend and neighbor. And if Andrew Holness can have a come to Jesus moment, half-heartedly though it sounds, I am willing to tag along with him, because we must not and should not support the Americans for any reason. They're baby killers, they're rapers, they're pedophiles. Why would you want to support them? Like, seriously. Why would you want to support them? Andrew Holness not naive, Andrew Holness just wicked. Naive and just wicked. But of all the things that I dislike of him and about him, I can put them on the back burner at the moment. Doesn't mean I'm forgetting about them. Doesn't mean he is forgiven. His sins continues to accumulate, you see. But this is a matter of principle. This is Cuba. Some of the doctors and nurses are still there. Tufton is embarrassingly renegotiated. This is, I think, a part of the come to Jesus moment. Because you notice we did an article and a show on this the other day, where Dr. Tufton seemed to cannot find the employment in Ghana, Nigeria, Philippines, India, where I asked Dr. Tufton and asked Jamaicans to call on Dr. Tufton to tell me how much that joyride will not produce nothing, cost the Jamaica taxpayer. We need to hear that from Dr. Tufton. But because to say, they realize them don't have no other option than Cuba when it comes to healthcare worker. Tufton I tell we what they say, he's renegotiating a memorandum of understanding with the Cubans in relation to the healthcare workers. But Jamaica makes some new stipulation which is holding up the signing off on the memorandum of understanding. What are those new stipulations? I don't know if it's coming directly from the Jamaicans or from the US Foreign Office. But he embarrassingly have to turn around and come back to renegotiate the Cuba Memorandum of Understanding, where they make run out because Marco Rubio come stuck him finger up them ass and them get jollificated over it, you see. But we were waiting for a very long time for Andrew Holness and the US politician them in a kerfuffle. This is not the one. We want it on corruption, money laundering, and all of them something. They are that the war there. We there wait for, hope for, and a look out for. No this year one year. So pan this year issue year. If I did corruption, they can't take him up fine or Jamaica. Right now, more than a hell push them game, you know. If a corruption, then they are lash out on him for. If I the money laundering and the thieving and the dictatorship when having a Jamaica, I know we would not push him game. We don't know that. Now to the nasty old Sihide from Trinidad, the nasty old Piot. The stance so you see the Trinidad that them have the prostitute. The stance where you see them have the Trinidad and them, the sellouts them, have pan Cuba is a long time stance, it's not just now. If you go back to the Bay of Pigs invasion, when the Americans and the CIA and Cuban dissidents from Florida invaded Cuba, was it 60-61? Them lot from Trinidad and Tobago play just like how them give Trump a launch pad to attack Venezuela. They did the same thing with Cuba in the Bay of Pigs. They gave the Americans launch pad for launch from for attack Cuba. So these traitors, the Trinidadians, we must now brand them as the traitors of the Caribbean. Because the Trinidadian, for whatever they wrap up to the Americans, them and the Jamaicans and the Americans flood you, the Jamaicans and the Trinidadians, with drugs and guns. Barring Haiti, which is fighting for a different which the issues in Haiti, it's different from where going in a Jamaica and Trinidad, because Haiti is about revolution. Jamaica and Trinidad is about corruption. And see what the Americans do to them, flooding with gun and drugs. But I protect them. So this galangin what you see with Trinidad, I know just now, a long time Trinidad is a traitor in the region. A long time Trinidad. A long time Trinidad a traitor in the region. The Jamaica Labour Party, them a traitor in the region as well. And the Holness has now come to a Jesus Christ moment. And I'm ready to drop all of my issue with him right now. Not dash them away, you know. Just drop them to support him on the issue of Cuba. Though it is half-hearted, though it is flip-flopping, though we don't know what am I going to mean tomorrow, because Andrew Holness and Donald Trump have many mouths. What they say tomorrow and what they mean today. I cannot support anything coming from America, especially coming from a Donald Trump regime, or coming from these Cuban dissidents such as Gomez and Rubio. Under no circumstances, I would close my eyes and support Andrew Holness knowing that as it over, me go chuck one big stone out of him and say, you fucking fool, you. Look what you get, winner. The Caribbean need some Michael Manley, Hugo Chavez, and Fidel Castro spirit. The Caribbean too cold. America sanction no mean nothing again. America now make nothing again. And America want have money for lend. And America want have technology. And America want have what's it rather you may call it. America is dying. If uno can't see a dead man lay down pan bed gaping, me no know when uno go see dead body. Uno no see America and the way out. So me no see wanna capitulate to America for. Where America have to sell. When last uno see something were made in America, even if uno see something were made in America after them buy from China, them put their own stamp on it. America make nothing. America will walk and borrow from Britain, China, and Japan. Even the Britain, them when I have it. Oh, please. We know the Supreme Court paved the way for to play hardball with Donald Trump. Because what you don't want, Donald Trump is so arrogant and so dunce that sanctions and tariffs are two different things for two different reasons. But Donald Trump used them interchangeable. He used them as the same thing, which sanctions are not tariff, and tariff are not sanctions. But because him can't impose sanction upon you, then him use the tariff as a sanction strategy. This is one of the reasons why he gets slapped back by the court as well. The Supreme Court paved the way for no stuck to finger up at Donald Trump. Because he now cannot go higher than the 10 or 15%. Even though he use another law to impose it globally, but he cannot go on with the taunting of I'm gonna put 100% tariff on you. I'm gonna put 150%. He cannot do that anymore. And you don't have to listen to him on that anymore. You don't have to follow the tariff that he imposed on you prior to the court ruling because they have no legal standing anymore. Regardless of Donald Trump hooting and tooting, it don't mean nothing. I hate that place. Which places do you hate, Alan Coleman? Which places do you hate? America? But we have to this Andrew Holness on this issue. It is sad to say, but we must give him national support. I am supporting Andrew Holness on this matter. Sharon, how you do? It is hard, but politics have principle in it. Me wouldn't live in the US for free, Alan. Would never live in America for free. Would never live in that place for free. God-forsaken place. Even though Europe God-forsaken as well, but God, America is God-forsaken. But we cannot turn a blind eye to the issue. Labor rights gonna come here. Of course, anything to do with Cuba, Abena, how you do? Anything to do with Cuba, those of us with a socialist alignment or a social democracy alignment is going to automatically support it, whether it's coming from the PNP or it's coming from Labor. We on the social side have been calling on Andrew Holness to take a principled stance on the Cuban issue. Half-heartedly, we're hearing something from him now. And because of that, the US US Congressman, one of Trump loyalists, come out with a sweeping attack on Andrew Holness, threatening sanctions on Jamaica. What that sanction may look like, financial, economic, or visa, it is yet to come out of one of Donald Trump's mouth. But with the greatest opposition to Andrew Holness' policies and politicking, I have to support him on this national issue. It is a national issue as well as a regional issue. We must not be harangued or controlled by America. Don't talk say because we little and America powerful, because America lend with money, and no. We're going to have to stand up for something one day. 70 years and them don't break the back of Cuba. 70 years and them don't break the back of Cuba. 70 years and Cuba educationally, scientifically done better than these countries will line themselves to the bullshit of Western democracy. What have we benefited from Western democracy other than stripping off more of our clothes? Other than walking more naked and becoming more wicked and evil? Tell me what we benefit from democracy and Western democracy, barring a lot of knives and a lot of nakedness and a lot of profanities, because that's all democracy is about, knives, nakedness, and profanities. It really don't have no long-lasting principles in it. That's why you see these whole of these Western governments are falling. This is why the whole of these Western governments are falling. Democracy have no long-lasting principle. Democracy was built on lie. It was built on hatred, murder, rape, and pillaging. It cannot stand. Nothing no go so it don't true. So stop legitimize the bullshit. This American democracy. American democracy. Cut the bullshit. Democracy is about lawlessness, nakedness, eating children, raping children, sacrificing children, killing women, cutting out babies out of women, stealing other people's land and resources. Oh, pal, how you do? Man, you penalize you for late, you know. Ballot! Wanna call Senator Lampshade for winner, please. Senator Home Sweet Home. We want to hear from the back, the neck, and the shoulder. The neck, Kamina Johnson Smith. The back, Marlon Morgan. And the shoulder, Apka Fitz said, on a Nathan run, you're so quiet. The amount of big tick on the run out with every day. Every day we pass on the yard, we have to duck. And we have to look out for the stone and the buckle them. We can't walk past on the yard. One of us set dog pan we, a beer stone and buckle we have to duck from. The US, they must duck from the same stone and buckle them too. The United States of A need for duck from a stone and buckle. So we want to know one of the senator back, senator shoulder, and senator neck. Labor right vloggers, come from under the bushel, you coward mother sods. Putting your head under the bushel, hiding away because you're protecting your visa, or maybe you don't want to turn away from the maternity hospital in foreign. You don't and vase. Una protect una dental treatment, una maternity access, una make sure una protect una want to fly to foreign when una sick. Come on board. We out here for it. No man. Chopper John. Cliff Hughes. Munchie. Wanna help me name them now? Travis. Wanna know the JLP blogger them? Punkos. Son of Punkos. Who else? Who else? Miss Charmin. Who else? Vegas. Mrs. K. Who else? Who else? Yeah. Church. The Ungwe, where they claim say a PNP they have Jennifer. Uno come. With they upon the battlefield, we don't know, we not left uno alone. Uno can't cowards, so uno visa protectors. You bunch of visa protectors. Where are you? What the visa protector them there? Say under foreign and can't talk right now, you know, and an in daughter and lord are foreign in a maternity. So them can't talk right now. But the rest of the way can't talk, Jamaica and can't talk. Talk, man. Because we there if it turn upside down. We will pass the stone, them go no fi fling. You can't turn quiet, so. Because the amount of stone we have to duck when we are passing a yard. The amount of stone we have to duck when we are pass on a yard. Oh, how we wish. Oh, how we wish that this war between Andrew Holness and American politician was about corruption and money laundering. Right now, we wouldn't have space in the whole world at the back of Andrew push him, give the American them, you know. But this is a matter of principle. The principle here is Cuba, not Andrew Holness, or not even the stance of Andrew Holness, because we really don't know what it is, and we really don't know how long it got and when it got change. The principle, though, is Cuba. And if he decides to stand firm, we must support him on this issue. Don't mind the coward labor right them. When fire hit the grass, when fire hit the grass, the snakes will have to come out of it. Labor rights. Labor rights. When the fire hits the grass, you the snakes, labor rights supporters, you the snakes, labor rights bloggers, will have to come out of the grass. It's a matter of just getting the fire in it. I wonder, though, if the Prime Minister will have a response to the Congressman, or any of you can roll your shoulder up to respond to that. Because every time on a tackle we are going to tell them, say, wait. Remember, we're not done with the fight with America first. We're not respond to America yet. Respond to America, then come back and deal with we. But, but, you can't come take we on and you left America out there so unanswered. We don't have to deal with America. We can't tackle we again. Labor rights. We cannot tackle we until you don't answer America. Can't have to answer to America, boy. Three, the four last president America elected, the Bush, the Obama, the Biden, the Trump. 3 of the 4 were mad people. 3 of the last 4 presidents America elected were mad people. And still not see the direction where America go yet? No, talk truth. 3 of the 4 last presidents elected by the American populace or handed to you by the American deep state are mad people. Bush was mad. Biden was mad. And the maddest of mad is Donald Trump. And we still not see where America go. All right. Labor rights. It's me or the visa, said the labor rights. Andrew need the support, labor rights. Me out here collect offering and gather support for the Prime Minister. Globalists, wanna vote? Well, on Universal TV, the senator is leading Andrew by 5%. So, Universal Media no support Andrew. Over on Universal Media support Andrew. Universal Vantage support the mayor. And Global TV supports Andrew. But my support is for the Prime Minister on a matter of principle. Having said that, please take note that nothing that we have with Andrew is being put aside. They run concurrently. They're like prison sentences. The support for the Prime Minister and the denouncement of the Prime Minister goes consecutively at the moment. Two things can really be true at the same time. Two opposing things can really be true at the same time. You ever hear a woman or a baby mother said how they hate their husband, but it's the love of their life? Opposing things are the very truth at the same time. Anyway, we're go about with business. We're go about with business, but tell the labor right them say, we now stop calm. We now stop call and we now stop beg help for Andrew. And me not think it fair, labor right. Me not really think it fair for no left it pan we for defend Andrew Holness. Remember when Andrew Holness come from South Africa where they and declaring war, he never declare it pan uno, in declare it pan we. And if we can have a little conscience, labor rights, where are you? Labor rights. Labor rights, where are uno? Andrew Holness needs your support. Some of us are willing to break ranks for a few hours and a few days and give him the support and the Cuba. What happened to uno? So no say, at the visa, at the thing, we not protect the visa. Marlon Morgan with the back. Kamina Johnson Smith with the neck. And Abka Fitzhenley with the shoulder. We want to hear from you. Malvina Bachelet and your daughter, Georgina Davis, we want to hear from you. You start supporters of the Prime Minister. You always have a story to protect and defend it. We want to hear from you. You know, can't and round you so quiet. Not on the same street where we depend. A few times to fling back now. But the only thing is, we have to go fling it at the source house. Because no in the yard. Even if we're not in the house or not under the bed. I mean, I know how to fling stone under bed. But labor rights, we want to hear from you. All right? We really, really would like to hear from you. Do you support Andrew? Or are you leaving Andrew to fight this battle on his own because it's a PNP battle? Tell us. We want to hear from you, labor right. Talk to us in the comment. Talk to us in the comment when you watch this after that. Talk to us in the comment. Whose side you're on and why. All right? Anyway, thank you all for being here this morning. Bro, you sound like a fool. Okay, Devon, Scott, quite an interesting way to disagree. Explain to me why you think I'm a fool and on what reason. Is it the support for Andrew? Is it the support for Cuba? How am I a fool? Let's hear it from you. Let's hear a bit of intelligent respond coming out of you, Mr. Scott. When I sound like fool boat, Gary said, I'm in the middle. Well, I can proudly say I will support the Prime Minister if he willing to stand on principle. I will support him on principle. BUT, I don't know if he's going to embarrass us. I don't know if the threats will make him capitulate to Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, and Giménez or whatever him name. So let's wait and see. They say, turn and see, don't poil no dance. Turn and see, no poil no dance. So let us stand and see. But labor rights come out. Come beat the drum just like a way, and your Holness need the support. All right? Thank you all very much for being here this morning. Even to Devon Scott, who think I'm a fool. Or Devon or Donovan. Donovan or Scott, I think, who think I'm a fool. Thank you all for being here this morning. Lovely to have your support. Hit the like button, participate in the poll, and remember the link to our website and the link to our app is in the description area, where you can have access to all the articles that we've written and published. But wait, why is he saying nothing? You know, when people come with an offensive comment and you ask them to give you an intelligent assessment, they can never answer, because people who have very low IQ would rather look towards the ad hominem rather than the principle of the issue at hand. So I guess he has nothing principle to say, so he rather attacked my sensibility. Never mind the buzzcocks, we're used to them. Anyway, another day, another dollar. All right? So make sure you visit our website, read our articles and comment on them. Also, you can become a member to our app. The membership is free. We're not charged for membership yet. So make sure you support the thing. All right? And like and share the live. And if you have not yet subscribed, do not wait. Do not wait. Anyway, me gone about my business. Me not staying back this time. Me gone. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Too long in our little ghetto. Run, keep going on, let's process. For children of Israel do really love rights. So just I and I say watch a man around Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel. I she never hold thy peace. What wrong is going on? Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon walls. Prepare and read the way. Prepare and read the way for jumping. Let's go. Fight down, war cry. Fight down, listen Rastafari. War and cry and do that righteousness. And we love Jah. And we love Jah. And we love Jah. Jah Rastafari. And we love Jah. We love Jah. away, put time away again. Listen, yeah. So just as I and I say, watch your man, I run Babylonian walls. Oh, children of Israel, I should never hold thy peace, but we penalize. Hey, oh, night. We gonna bust down Babylon gates. Prepare the way. Prepare the way for Rastafari. Fight down, war and fight. Fight down, war and fight. Rastafari, war and crime, and build up righteousness. And we love Jah, and we love Jah. And we love Jah, Rastafari, preserve all. And we love Jah. Me love Jah, Rastafari. Me love Jah, Rastafari, preserve all. Me love Jah, Rastafari.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.